Yo,
What's up?
what's happening?
What's happening?
The rest of the gang. I'm excited to crack into the rest of these characters.
Yeah, so what's going on today? What is it we got happening?
Well, we've been working on Harlots of the Silver Screen, and we've
Mm-hmm.
developed our two main characters,
Right?
pushed those ladies out. So now we're working on the supporting cast.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think this will be a fun one once he's able to hop on. Our guest today is KRIS Shaw, and if that's not going to bring something to these characters, then damn nothing will.
Right.
So he should have. This should be a fun thing for him too. So I hope he enjoys it when he shows up.
Yep.
Real quick, last week we did You Were Gone, and we did Storm Trailer with Jerry Goebel and Jason Emery and Jeff Goltz.
Yep.
So it was Jake, Jerry, Jason, and Jeff. And holy smokes, what a storm trailer of ideas that was. So much so that I couldn't even really keep up with what the hell everybody was talking about. So,
Yeah, I can imagine.
right. So, what ended up happening is Jason took all the notes, compiled them together, Jason Emery, and built a script for the first episode. So it hasn't gone through the paces. We want you to see it. We want Jerry and Jeff and well, I've seen it. So we want everybody to be able to see it and kind of take a look at it before we let everybody see it. But there is a first episode written that needs to go through the meat grinder.
Cool.
So
I'm anxious to check it out.
yeah, for sure. We're excited to show it to you and to show it to Jerry and Jeff as well and see what their take is on what his this is him. And I've read it. It's cool. So he did a really good job of corralling the cats up.
The notes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, when I just the little bit that I've heard of it, my mind was like going all over the place because it's such a cool name anyway, Storm Trailer.
Right.
So, like, there's so many different ways you could go, routes or avenues for that.
So it's literally a storm, a government-produced storm that can take on a symbiotic form, like a human form. It can take on the form of, or it can embody this trailer that they live in. And it also has a tendency to take the trailer places and leave just humongous patches of destruction wherever it goes. So it's fun.
Yeah,
Plus, he's kind of fun-loving and likable.
he's a fun-loving storm,
He's kind of like Alf.
kind of like Alf. All
Yeah.
right.
But instead of eating cats, he eats ass. So, all right.
Eddie's a trailer. So is this like a trailer park trailer? Is this going to be like a
Like a tow behind, maybe.
tow
See,
behind,
so
like a
we don't have to.
RV?
All of this is ridiculous. So we don't have to adhere to any kind of laws of physics. So the plan is for the inside of the trailer to be ridiculously big, like a
Right.
full house, like a full ranch on the inside. But then on the outside, it's like something that could get towed by a truck, like a fifth wheel,
There you go. Maybe an Airstream. Maybe a nice Airstream.
like a nice Airstream. Exactly, something cool like that.
Yep.
But something that can get propelled through the air and land in different places.
There you go.
Yeah, that's important.
All right. Yeah.
Do we want to get moving on this before KRIS shows up, or do we want to try to hold out for
Yeah.
a few and see if he gets here? Because we'll have
You
to
know-
go back through all of this and explain who Judy is, who Grace is,
Right.
and get
Yeah.
him caught up.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get him caught up anyway.
Okay, so you just want to plug ahead?
Yeah, I'd say let's plug ahead on
Good.
these characters. I mean, our What was our guy's name?
Here, let me bring the screen up real quick.
It's been so long.
You have the Google Doc up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I see you're in here. Right here. Dewey Sprig is what we came up with. I think Ed actually came up with that in the first episode.
Okay. And this is the old man that's got a thing for Judy Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, with Dewey being kind of an old-timey name, which is why that was decided upon, and it was a great call by Ed.
Mm-hmm. I like Dewey.
Yeah, I think Dewey Sprig's a great name.
With 3 G's.
Then Nellie Bell as the car, which again, if we have a Dewey Sprig, would a Dewey Sprig name a car Nellie Bell?
Yes, he would.
Right. I think that's part of the charm of Dewey Sprig and his years of service to this whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
And so Dewey, so we need to give Dewey a backstory and a life, and before we meet him.
Yes.
Need to figure out all about this old man.
Okay. So let's go ahead and line up our targets for tonight. Dewey Sprig, Nellie Bell, Joe Johansson, and Rayla Robinson. Now, all of these names are open for discussion. These were just earmarked names for the time. We'll go Charles, Thomas Buck Jr., Michael Buck, Gabriel Buck, Charles Buck, Asshole Buck. I remember him.
Oh, those were the boys, right?
These were the boys.
So we gave Grace. Those were her kids, right?
Hang on just a second, because we're about to take on a visitor. There he is.
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Terry?
How's it going, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
Good, good. Have you met Jake?
We've met once.
Okay, yeah, well, we met.
We did a table read of
Yes, I remember
Headshot.
upstairs in the living room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember now. How you been?
I want to thank Terry for my horrible lines in the script ahead of time.
Who's
I
part
don't know who wrote those, are the two of you.
That was Terry, and I would submit revisions to him, and then he would rewrite it. But it was he was pretty much all the writing.
It definitely has his flair to it.
Who were you? Or were you Max? Were you playing Max?
Maybe. Was he the?
Oh, he said headshot. I was thinking Max and Benny, Terry. He said
headshot.
So it could have been anybody.
Remember the sleazy guy that gave the license to sell weed at the shop or something. I can't think of the character's name, but anyway.
Yeah.
We got to rewrite it. We got to do a page 1 rewrite on that thing.
Right.
Dude, I'll tell you what, the day that I spent with you guys, we spent time together out there shooting that day too. That day was a lot of fun. The set was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Except it was 100 degrees.
Yeah. It was a zillion degrees in that place. That was terrible. I hated that part. Wasn't Lash there?
Lash? I don't think he was.
There was some big guy that was a cop.
Oh, that was Lash. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we should probably just start from the beginning. Don't you think, Terry?
Yeah. So what we've been doing, Chris, the last few weeks, or actually it's been a couple months now, just meeting on Thursdays and writing. And we started with that. Remember that story about the aging porn stars going to Vegas for the Adult Video News Award? Remember that?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, okay. The story that I pitched to you about the ladies taking a road trip to Vegas, and one of them's like leaving a nursing home to get her award at the Adult Video News Awards in Vegas.
I forgot all about that. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So that's what we've been working on a few different projects, like, so we come back to this one and then we'll write like a 48-hour film project, and then we'll come back to this.
Okay.
So the intent of this show is just every week we do it at the writer's room. And is that John screaming
That's
in the
my
background?
son John being tortured by my wife in the background. Sorry, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah. So for this screenplay.
Okay.
All right.
I think my
What you think?
connection blinked out for a good chunk of that, but that's all right. Nobody's watching it anyway. So where we are so far, Chris, is we've decided the concept of the thing is going to be the aging porn star that dupes her conservative roommate into taking a road trip to Vegas so she can accept a lifetime achievement at the AVN Awards. It's probably going to be set in the 80s because that's easier to justify the innocence of whatever, because by the 80s, I mean, people had already stuck their heads in each other's asses. So to walk that
they were still wearing condoms in the 80s, though.
Well, that's very true. They had some high priorities in the 80s that maybe they didn't have in the 20s. But if we put this in the 20s, that puts us at this innocent time where something small now was super significant then, and who's going to trace back that, right? So I'm sure they have names that are attached to most of the devious acts of porn and who the first was, or the known first. So she's going to be in her late 70s, spinster, never married, super independent. We got a bunch of porn names for her. We ought to open this document. Can you send him a copy of that document so I'm not broadcasting his email on the show?
Yeah.
And just give him access to it so he can flip through all of that and see what our notes are. So we've got Judy kind of vetted out. We think maybe she's going to die toward the end of it. She was from Jasper, Indiana originally. She has a younger sister with a backstory there that she's going to get into with Judy, or with Grace. She does things like homeopathic healing, palm reading. She reads auras. She does tarot. She's one of those kind of quirky, you know what I mean, kind of gypsy gals.
Right. All right, Jerry, I got it.
Independent, smart, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? She crochets, she knits, she does old lady stuff too. So then Grace is the friend of hers at the retirement place. Terry, do you want to tell them about Grace?
Yeah, so her friend Grace is like the polar opposite of her. She's real conservative, goes to Bible study, all that stuff. So there's no way that she would ever be down to take a road trip to Vegas for the porn awards.
If she knew the real intent.
If she knew the real intent of why they were going on this road trip.
Right. Kind of like a Thelma and Louise type of deal.
Yep. Yeah, like that. So my idea is like, this is like Golden Girls meets road trip, or girls trip, or something like that, meets Boogie Nights.
Jesus.
Except,
hey man, I'm gonna have to excuse myself. I have to use the bathroom. I have to rejoin in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So what do I do? Put it on.
I
don't know how long I'm gonna be in there.
That's why I just dropped out.
Yeah, just hop out.
Call back in. We'll let you back in.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
So who's our old dude, Dewey Sprigg?
Well, hang on a second. First of all, I forgot to. This isn't a we. This is a me. Rename us. See, there we go. I'm gonna just take a shot in the dark.
Now, I guess we could make the whole movie with just nothing but fart noises.
Do you see what I'm saying now, right?
Right.
Literally. Just farts. The whole thing. 7.5 minutes of nothing but fart dialogue, but with the subtitles underneath with this really compelling story. Just acted out by butts and farts.
Right. Let's put that up. We can put that on the bottom of the list, and if we get through everything else, we'll go to the.
Are you sure? Because that one feels like way more important right now. In these times, are you telling me that doesn't feel like something more important than, let's say, Storm Trailer or Someplace Warm or Chet Manga?
Right.
Oh, so that is what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's shame on you, but whatever.
Right.
So we will finish catching him up. All we have to really do is tell him about finish up with Grace.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and start digging into Dewey. Dewey Sprigg, and we'll also do Nellie, Belle, the car, and we'll also do Joe Johansson and Rayla Robinson. Because their stories don't have to be nearly as compelling. Well, I mean, I guess they could, but they're not going to be focused all that much. But we could turn the tables on it and show the movie from their perspective as well and give them an equal share of the time and really tell two stories.
Are you talking about the people that work at the
Yeah, Joe and Rayla.
Joe and Rayla?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. Yep. So we can break down these characters and really get to know them. Maybe as we flesh out these characters, we might find that might be an interesting way to tell it. Sometimes movies are cool that tell the same story from different vantage points, and how they kind of all then overlap, and we get to figure out that all this is happening at the same time, and they're going through this part where.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think that we should do justice to Joe and Rayla as well as Nellie Bell and Dewey, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know that, again, I don't know that we need to know if Joe has, how many kids and how many this and that or whatever. We could, just for the sake of having that info, but I don't know that it's going to play as important a role as Grace's family.
Right.
If that,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So Dewey Sprigg, what do we want to do with our old boy Dewey? How old is Dewey?
I'd say he's probably the same age as these.
Mid-70s.
Mid-70s, yeah.
Tall, short? Nah, we don't care. How's he carry himself, though?
I don't know. I'm picturing a guy that's maybe pretty generous.
What if we say late 70s?
All right.
And spry, but slowish. Kind of like Dick Van Dyke.
Right.
gonna cast Dick Van Dyke as Dewey Sprigg.
Let's do that.
Wait, is he alive?
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought I saw him on a like a yoga Taibo thing or something.
Yep.
I didn't get
Born in he's 95.
95.
He,
Wow.
he was just on the Today Show last month talking about his career, and I'd seen little like snippets of people saying, they see him in like a little restaurant somewhere, or like at the like an ice cream shop, just tooling around LA, and they're like, oh, there's Dick Van Dyke, and he's talking to everybody, and
That's cool.
yeah.
Wow.
95. That's yeah.
And most people by the time they're 95, I imagine, I don't know, it's hard for a whole lot of people to give a shit about you.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the people that would have are dead.
Are dead, yeah.
There's you're like 2 generations removed at that point, damn near. I mean, that's
right.
That's a huge gap in understanding. You start to fade from memory fast. Like my kids don't know who that is.
No, yeah, my kids don't know who that
And
is.
they're 22. So,
Right.
I mean, he's already faded from their memory, and he's alive.
Right. Not that it matters. I mean, there's plenty of people that they don't know that nobody, like, he's just he was just made movies. And
But
that's why
in
people-
our generation, knowing Dick Van Dyke was something that you knew.
Right.
Because he was in all these movies that you see what I'm saying?
Right. He was Mary Poppins, right?
He was Mary Poppins. That's
Big
right.
one, a big one. There you go.
So even the generation before us and before that,
Mm-hmm.
well, before us at the very least. All right, so Dewey Sprigg, late 70s, spry but slowish. We want to give him something that causes him to not be able to be in the service, like in the military, which is how he stayed there through all of these wars and stuff.
Mm.
So we can tie his tenure through all of that, and maybe even talk a little bit about how maybe he felt guilty doing that, not being able to serve, and it ended up driving him to kind of go there because nobody knew him. Everybody was so much older that nobody would have known, and nobody really asked questions. He could keep his head down and just kind of take care of things. You know what I mean? It's sort
Right.
of, it builds in a reason to funnel him into the nursing home.
Right.
That's organic for that time, because if he didn't participate in either of the wars, I mean, some people thought of it differently.
Mm. So he's a guy that just maybe he had some kind of injury, some kind of thing that kept him from being fit to serve.
What could it be though? Maybe slow.
Yeah. Could be a little bit slow. Slow Dewey. There's Slow Dewey.
Slow Dewey, dude, that's good. Let's just call him Slow Dewey Sprigg.
Right.
Slow Dewey Sprigg.
But he's just only a little slow because you don't go full slow. What was that? Was that in Tropic Thunder?
Yes. You never want to go full. You never want to go full slow. Dude, that was a movie that aged well.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Jamie Foxx on Joe Rogan talking about that, talking about Robert Downey Jr. doing blackface for that movie. And he just talked about how, he killed it. Like it was a great role. Like he just nailed it. Nobody gives him any shit over that because it wasn't, it wasn't mean spirited or anything. It was a making fun of a guy, so
Right.
he got nobody's giving him shit over it because of the way it was portrayed.
Sure.
Basically.
Absolutely. But is that open for interpretation as far as what's good spirited and
Sure.
what isn't?
Yeah. I mean, it's up to everybody. Nobody's called him out for it because.
Right. Man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd keep that to myself. But I also live within a house of fear.
Right.
So he's spry, but he's slowish, both physically and mentally. Low IQ score kept him out of military service. Missed all wars of the era. We want to say how people like ridiculed him for not serving and for being too dumb, too slow to serve. Because that was a mean time. People
Right.
had a tendency to be
Right.
over brusque with slow people.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we capture that?
Yeah. And I don't even.
Hang on. I've lost your sound. I think I've got maybe a bug on my end.
A ghost in the machine.
There you go. Ghost in the machine.
Right.
All right. What
But
are you saying?
I was just saying, I'm not sure if I'm married to the idea of him being slow or not, but I don't mind like fleshing it out. But
When I say slow, I mean I don't want you to think that I mean like he's incapable. I mean he drives and does things just fine. He's just maybe a little,
yumpish.
maybe a touch gumpish, just above
Right.
that.
Yeah.
You know, we've all known people like that navigate life just fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Although Forrest Gump served.
He did serve. That's very true. Yeah, that's
He
a
got
good point.
He got a Purple Heart.
But that was in Vietnam.
Gotcha. So do you think the standards were higher in the World War II or that
In
that
World
era?
War One,
World War One.
I think that they probably were like, "Man, you're right. Okay, so that can't be what kept him out of military service. What is it? What kept him out?"
And is that really? I guess that during that time that would have been a thing. Like you went if you were of a certain age, you were going automatically going to go
Yeah.
fight.
Unless you had something seriously wrong with you.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that. Hang on a second.
Could be a whole cripple thing or the polio thing. Could be a thing.
Reasons people were exempt from service. World War One. Those exempted from the draft. Here we go. No person shall be exempted, shall be, if in any capacity that the president shall declare to be non-combatant. Workmen in agriculture were considered. This didn't tell me anything. Okay, well, we'll have to come up with some reason that is. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is it. Some men were exempted from the draft. Clergymen, teachers, and some class of industrial worker were not required to join. These roles were described as scheduled. Occupations included coal miners, doctors, people working in iron and steel industries that produce vital ammunition and equipment for war. Farming families. Papers bad crew important. This is important due to the social pressure to be seen to do your duty. Men remaining at home while their neighbors' sons and husbands were at the front needed to be able to demonstrate they were working in that nation's interest. So there's our answer. He was we'll put him in one of these occupations that would have exempted him from the draft. So the occupations are, if you wouldn't mind pecking these out, I'm actually gonna. Okay. Clergymen, teachers, industrial workers, meaning miners, coal miners, doctors, people working in iron and steel industries.
There you go. He could have been an iron worker.
Yeah, he could have been an iron worker. Men who felt they should be exempt from the draft due to poor health, potential damage to their business, family hardship, or a conscientious objection had to apply to a tribunal which would decide whether or not they should be conscripted. In the East Riding, many farming families who were, I don't know what that means, who were struggling with lack of labor went to tribunal to try to get their sons exempted from service. It was not always successful. I think this is British, first of all.
Yeah.
That is now. Yeah, I see that now. So.
But it could have been. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Seminary students found to be a member of the well-recognized religious sect. Military establishment, the answer to the call. Come on, man. Let's see if I can find it here. Background, arrest, district board, records, nope. Okay. All right, but we'll have to give up something.
Good.
For the time being,
Okay, so we have ideas that he was either slow or maybe he did fall into one of these categories.
or maybe he is British. Maybe we put Blake in the role.
Maybe.
Blake, we want you to be 80.
Yep, we can make that guy 80. Give him some makeup.
All right.
Put him in a makeup chair.
So we'll say occupation kept him out. Kept him out in military service. Missed all wars of the era. Okay. So what else do we? When did he hire on at our Shady Lanes or whatever it's called? It's not Shady Lanes. I think that's somebody used that, but whatever it's called.
Shady Acres. Shady quarter acres. Oh, you mean like at what age or? Yeah. He could be like a little maintenance guy, I guess. Maybe does he work on the? Is that car his or is that car part of the? Does it belong to the community?
Interesting.
What's that?
All right. What were you asking? Sorry, I was thinking of something else.
So are we, our guy, could he be maintenance there? Or could he be like the mechanic that works on the car? Maybe that's one of the vehicles they've got. Maybe they've got a few that belong to the facility.
Yeah, he's the maintenance guy. He runs around and screws in light bulbs and fixes wheels that are on wheelchairs and takes care of the car and knows a little bit about electricity and you know what I
Right.
mean.
He knows a little bit about everything.
A little bit of everything. You know, he mows the lawn. There's not much to do around here. I just do this and this and this and this.
Right. He just likes to keep busy.
Yeah. We could say that he's maybe he even has a boss.
Right. Maybe that's.
Maybe the boss is trying to get rid of him because he's old
Mm-hmm.
and is trying to push him out.
Right.
Maybe he
he's,
doesn't have anywhere to go and he can't stay at the community.
Yeah. Maybe he's like. Maybe he did get let go, like the staple guy in Office Space. Maybe he
Yeah.
hasn't been on payroll in 3 years.
Right. Yeah, maybe. But I definitely think that he's, that he's being pushed out and he's getting up there too old for the job, and but he just, is just so spry and everything. But they've had to hire on other people to kind of cover for him, and
He's getting too over this shit.
he's getting too old for this shit, which is kind of why it's easy for him to jump in the car and go save the girls, right?
Right.
Or however it shakes out. Or let them take the car and cover for him. Getting too old for this shit. All right. Knows a little bit of everything. Let's go ahead and expand on that. So, like, automotive, sodomotive, automotive, plumbing, carpentry, odds and ends. You can add anything you'd like.
Spry but slowish.
What else could he know about? So we're because this is going to be maybe where his personality starts jumping in. What are you smirking at?
No, I'm saying he's spry but slowish.
So what are some more things that he knows about? Let's build an eclectic list of things that this guy can bring up in general conversation that makes him interesting.
Mm-hmm. Right. He might know some useless trivia or some shit like that. He might be into.
He can know useless trivia. He can know. He can know about astronomy. He can just be a source of useless or let's call it just a. Oh my gosh. Encyclopedia of useless knowledge. So as we're writing it, we should have things that we can throw in there, kind of like the grievances. We'll just have a list of things that we can plug in places and have him.
Yeah. Like that Encyclopedia of Useless Knowledge. I remember Trivial Pursuit being a big deal back in the 80s.
Yeah.
That was he might be an expert at that.
Hey. Trivial Pursuit. Is that how you spell pursuit?
Yep.
Pursuit guru. Let's see when Trivial Pursuit came out. Come out. 1981. That's perfect.
There you go.
Perfect. 1981. You know, I look at that and I go, that's 40 years ago.
Right? That's crazy.
And 40 years ago, I remember when my dad brought home a Trivial Pursuit box.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, he was great at it. The rest of us kind of sucked. I was pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I was only 8. I was as
Yep.
good as an 8-year-old could be, though I was kind of an odd, precocious 8-year-old.
Right. Yeah, I think I was about the same with that.
But then
Yeah.
I think, oh my God, I'm 48.
Right.
This sucks.
Right.
We're writing a story about us.
Exactly. And that's why I thought it'd be cool. Hopefully Chris can hop back on or makes it back on because, you know, we're all in that same age group and we can really hammer in the 80s shit, you know, for these people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I wonder, so like we're seeing it from our vantage point of being kids at this time, but they're in their 70s. So.
Right.
So it might just be how like our kids are with technology and different things, you know, and they call anybody over 30 boomers.
Right.
So we might be able to tap into that somehow.
Okay.
You know, these people are, if we have some pop culture references and things from the 80s peppered in here, they can treat it like it's this new fancy, you know, they just don't get it.
At least Grace can treat it like that. Grace. I think that Judy is on board. I think she's hip to all this stuff.
She's hip to everything. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Grace who's been kind of bottled up and kept on the farm her whole life, or however that shook out.
Right, like Rose on Golden Girls.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, kind of like Rose. Rose is so bubbly.
Yeah.
I think Grace is going to. I see Grace anyway as being a little bit more kind of like one of those old gals that just kind of always is at church.
Right.
Like always is at church. She cooks for the church. She volunteers to go places when the kindergartners need a chaperone. You know what I mean? That person.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it right, but in my head, the first time we talked about her, that's kind of what I envisioned her as, kind of like the church lady.
Mm-hmm. I know my ex's grandmother. She was like that. She was always but it was a Catholic church, so she cussed like a sailor and
right.
wasn't afraid to have some whiskey.
Right.
But she was always helping out, cooking for the church, doing stuff. Volunteering for St. Vincent de Paul, that kind of stuff. So
right. Well, there are some that are like that, and then if you paid attention, there were some that were just very proper and very. They had the same kind of sweater, like that dark blue sweater that old ladies just wore back then. All of their outfits are super tone drab, color drab. Maybe.
Yeah.
All
right.
So what else do we need on Dewey?
So these industries that he could have been in when he was younger. All that we wrote that was really just in Britain, right?
No, it doesn't have to be that. They can be all here. I was just throwing that out there because it was a quick fix to our wartime exemptions.
Why he wasn't a. Yeah.
And it may be that iron workers were considered exempt in World War I in the U.S. We'll just have to look it up.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I mean, how else were they going to make the? Because they didn't start sending women to work in those jobs until World War II.
Right.
So.
That's right. And then what happened? They took over. They figured out, wait a minute, this isn't that hard, guys. And then they started jumping up and taking over. And now all the music on the radio is pussy music. So, whatever that means.
Hey, I'm all about it.
Progress. Wow.
Getting too old for shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit, man. All right, so are we grinding to a halt on Dewey for the time being?
Yeah, I mean, I also in my mind have, I mentioned that like he's kind of generous. I remember an old friend, family friend who was single. His kids were all grown, but he would do just great things for anybody. He worked at GM, but he was close to retirement age.
Right.
Kind of a guy that just had plenty of money, had everything he wanted, and he would just give. He would. I remember he would give me and my ex-wife thing. He'd just be like, "Here, some guy at work was selling tennis shoes in the parking lot." Out of his van. I got you guys a couple pairs of shoes, just that kind of stuff, things you didn't ask for, but he was just overly
right
thinking of people and here. I
well,
thought
type
of
it
you.
in. Absolutely, type it in there.
So just generous, and maybe not to a fault, but to a without he gives without really any kind of generous with time and money. Maybe not to a fault where people take advantage of him, but just where he doesn't have any expectation of it.
Right. He's just that guy. He's super nice.
Just like that. Yeah.
I thought the first time you said that you said he was generous with his diamond money, and I thought, ooh, this guy's intriguing.
He's intriguing.
He's got diamond money.
Right.
What's going on with this guy?
He buys everything with diamonds.
What if he turns out to be running some kind of crazy thing through the retirement home?
Right, it's a smuggling ring.
He's been smuggling diamonds into the country.
He's been smuggling diamonds.
Smuggle line. Sweet smuggle line.
Smuggling diamonds in old lady nannies.
Oh no. All right. There we go.
Yep.
Nannies. Nannies is now part of the, this is live, so this is now part of the thing, the webosphere. All right, let's move down to Nellie Bell the car. Well, is there anything that you want to add to that? Generous time with money, smuggles blood diamonds, and old ladies who nannies?
Right. We can get rid of that part. But.
That's up to you. It's already on the interwebs.
All right. No, I think we fleshed out Dewey. He's a supporting character anyway, so.
Yeah. But he's a pretty significant supporting character, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Nellie Bell the car. Talk to me about Nellie Bell. What year and model is this car? When was she bought?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I know the last time we met on this, I zoned off and looked at some Woodies, some of the old station wagons. Yeah. I remember my grandparents had I think it was a Chevy wagon. that was probably made in the mid 70s.
Okay. I'm going to.
Probably a Ford version of it too.
Here we go. I'm going to bring up a website here. See if I can get this to show up on one of these screens. Let me share this with you, Terry. Oops. No, that's not going to work. Never mind. All right. Watch the show.
Ford LTD.
There's a website, if it'll ever stop putting pop-ups in my face.
Pontiac Safari.
God.
Oh, that was in the. Oh yeah, the Pontiac Safari. Dodge Coronet.
The Ford LTD Country Squire, 1950. Woody panels.
Yeah, they made them all the way through 91.
Pontiac Safari.
Chrysler Town and Country.
When was this? 1956. That is a good look. That Pontiac Safari is good looking. This 1956 Pontiac Star Chief Custom Safari two-door.
Yeah, I'm on the same. Are you on Cheapism?
Yeah.
Yeah, I took me to the same place. That's a pretty dope looking car.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which one were you looking at?
Town and Country's pretty awesome.
This Mercury Commuter is cool. Town and Country. How far down is it? What number?
Town and Country's number 5 on what I'm looking at. A Hornet.
Town and Country. Oh, 1941. Well, let's find a 1941 Town and Country.
Oh wow.
Or a
So this thing would be 40 years old. I would imagine it doesn't have to be the first. It can be a 10-year-old car. Oh, but if we want to, I guess, show what it's seen through the years, might.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Good luck getting one of these.
Right.
Holy smokes. Let me switch this back over real quick so everybody can see these. These are crazy. Oh, do
But
you
a
know how
19
hard this would be? This is like something that,
Yeah.
no, that's too
But a 1975.
50s. Well, we want this to be an old car. Because part of the lure of the car is that it has that old personality from being with him for so long.
Right.
Which puts us
Well,
in
how
the
old?
40s or 50s.
Yeah. Could it have been something he's had for 20 years instead of 40?
I mean, it could. The backstory of him and the car kind of growing together and showing up at the same time, if he started there in his 60s, that would make a ton of sense.
Right, right.
But if he started there in like his 30s or 40s, and he was in his 70s, that would put us in, late 40s, early 50s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A
What was the
Nomad.
other one?
Chevy Nomad. That's pretty dope.
What number is it? Oh, I'm here.
Number 9.
Oh, wow. That is cool, with the big flare fins in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
The Chevelle wagon is pretty badass too, but they started building those in '63.
Right. Willie's Model 463 Jeep. Let's do it.
Yep.
All those not going to work. But this 1952 Chevy Suburban is all right. I idea of the kind of like the stupid ambulance from Ghostbusters, and the style that have those kind of cartoonishly flared out side panels and the Woody and that kind of things in that vein.
Yeah.
There you go, the Buick Estate Woody. This 1953 Buick Estate Woody on the page is really cool.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's got 4 doors, which suits our purposes. It's got the flip down back, which makes loading and unloading super easy for old people if they got to get things in and out. That could be cool. So let's write that one down. Buick Estate Woody. Call it 1953 for now. What was the one up top? Number 5 was
Town and Country.
Chrysler Town and Country. Do the Mercury Commuter. Chevy Nomad.
Yeah, that was pretty dope. Do
Chevy Suburban just in case.
What number was the Suburban?
It was 15.
Oh yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's exactly what we want, but it's still kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Buick Estate Woody. Did you get that one?
Which one? The Buick? Oh yeah, the first one, Buick Estate Woody is the, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, any one of these would be pretty cool to have it as his baby.
Yeah. Okay. And then
Did we do the?
Go ahead.
Did we do the Mercury Colony Park Wagon? Yeah, I guess we did. Didn't we?
We want to state that.
No, we didn't.
What is it?
The Mercury Colony Park Wagon was number 18.
Mercury Colony Park. Right? Is that right?
All right. Yeah.
Did you see what I typed? Is that correct?
Mercury Colony Park Wagon. Yep.
Very cool. So we want to state that car has personality and voice of Dewey. We want them to have the same voice, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nearly indistinguishable. I don't know how to spell indistinguishable. How do you spell indistinguishable?
Can you take it over?
Yeah. Thank you. Man, that was like blowing my mind. I used to be smart. I don't know what happened. I know what happened. Never mind.
Seems about right.
Nearly indistinguishable from Dewey in every way, personality-wise. Cool. Which makes them easy to write because all we're doing is rewriting Dewey.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool. So Nellie Bell is now done. So we can go down to Joe and Rayla. Joe Hansen. How you doing, big guy?
Joe Hansen.
How old's Joe? Joe Hansen.
Oh, the guy so he's like the guy that runs the place. He's probably our enemy.
Now, is he going to be the guy that runs the play? Let's do that. Let's make him Dewey's boss.
He could be the boss. He could be the owner. He could be just the guy that manages the joint.
He's maintenance and grounds manager. Something like that.
Would we make him that, or would we make him even more of a? Because if the women have taken off and they're trying to figure out where they went, would we want that to be an administrator from the facility trying to track them down?
I think they're tracking them down because they took their car.
Okay. But is it their car, or is it?
It's the community, the retirement community's car. But if this guy is the boss of grounds and maintenance,
gotcha.
Then
right.
that ties him directly to all of the goings on in that manner, and that kind of puts, because he would a guy in charge of that kind of stuff in that kind of place, he'll show up to meetings and shit, right? So
right.
I think that puts him, and then Rayla just ends up being his muscle.
Yeah, although I see Rayla as kind of on their side, maybe.
Oh, okay. I kind of saw Rayla as being the hard nose and Joe Hansen as being the one that, well, but that would have flip-flopped their roles. But we could flip-flop their roles and make Rayla the manager.
Mm.
But if you want her to be on there, so is she going to like secretly, how does that work? So she just kind of sympathizes with them?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I initially wrote her as a nurse, or one of the caregiver type people, nurse's aide or something, who was friendly with them.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we have to keep her that way.
Well, that would justify her going with. I like that. Okay, I see what you're saying. So there's going to be a little bit of a dynamic between those two anyway, because he'll be some type of grounds boss, meaning, upper guy. And she's going to be this nurse who's in charge of her, who just wants to get her back safe, and he's more interested in getting his property back safe.
Getting his car back, yeah.
Right. Maybe she knows the results of something that came back that causes her to worry about Judy, and that ends up being what takes her.
That could be, yeah.
So she's kind of racing against time as well. Ooh, look at us building a story.
Building a story.
Us adding subplot. You know what that's called?
Subtext
plot. Subtext plot.
Subtext plot.
Stubblocks. Look at us stubploxing. So, who is in charge of both girls? Joe Johansson. What's the car returned? Super tight ass with money.
Super tight ass.
Super tight ass with money. What else? How old's Rayla? Well, how old's Joe?
I would put him maybe in his 50s, 40s or 50s.
40s to 50s male. Okay. What about Rayla?
I would say maybe she's younger, or maybe in her 40s.
30s to 40s?
Yeah.
30s to 40s female. Cool. Sympathize with the girls. Nurse's aide who's in charge of both girls. What's she a fan of? What's something from that era that she might be a fan of? So if it was the 80s, that means that she would have been, and she's in her 30s, she would have been a girl, teen girl in her late 50s. So for the 60s, possibly. So what can we have her attached to that's kind of wholesome? Like David Cassidy.
Yeah, she could be a fan of David Cassidy. She could swoon over him.
Still has a thing for teen heartthrobs of the 60s. Fan of Dallas TV show.
Yep.
Let me find out when Dallas was on. It ran
Maybe Donnie and Marie. Might be a big fan.
78 to 91. Perfect.
Yep.
Yes, loves Donnie and Marie. Loves music. Captain and Tennille.
Commodores. Maybe she's a big Commodores fan.
How do you spell Captain and Tennille? Is it T-E-N-E-L?
Oh yeah, Captain and Tennille.
There you go.
Commodores.
What was the last one?
Commodores.
Commodores?
They were like late 60s all the way up to 90s, I think.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we can take it in a totally different direction. It doesn't have to be Donnie and Marie, and I mean we can go whoever. Let's just call it. Just loves music.
Loves to dance. Maybe that's a thing she likes to do.
Dances like no one's looking.
Dances like nobody's looking.
Okay. All right. What about Joe?
Joe doesn't dance.
So Joe doesn't dance. Doesn't dance like everyone. There you go. How's that? He doesn't dance like everyone's looking.
No. He's like the guy that ran the town in Footloose.
Hey, there you go. Kinda like the guy who ran the town in.
Was that John Lithgow?
It was. It was John Lithgow. Dude, that guy has the most puckered face.
Right. Yeah.
Like his face wants to turn into an anus. A fanus.
A famous.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, give or take it. Okay, what else about Joe? Do we need to know anything else about him?
I don't know. Maybe he cheats on his wife.
So let's
Like,
just
we want to make as unlikable when it ends. Remember, Horrible Bosses, what was it? Colin Farrell's character. I need you to fire the fatty, you know, and just
Right.
right.
Comes around to being cool when he finds out about Judy.
Judy, yeah. Her past. Yeah, then he's like, oh, wait. Wait a minute.
Maybe he did, maybe he's done something with her and taken advantage of her.
Yeah. Or
Maybe
try
just
to.
make him
Try
even
to.
more unlikable.
Right.
Yeah,
Proposition.
try to, right.
Try to, yeah. Because I would think that she's not, yeah, she's going to be tough enough to keep him at bay.
Well, I mean, not if he has, sway over whether she stays in the community or not. Maybe he could start
Right.
some shit.
Yep. Yeah.
We could put some tension in that way too, because we really do, I think, want to make that guy suck.
Yeah. Make him suck ass.
Because at the end, I think that all of them, the old people that are left, kind of like the printer on Office Space, just kick his head in a field and beat him with bats in
Right.
slow motion.
And play Ghetto Boys while they're doing it.
Well, I don't think we have to exactly replicate it, but we can play something else.
We'll just play a different song by the Ghetto Boys.
There you go. Hey, smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
I got it. Yeah. I got a solution.
All right. So, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. We got a lot of stuff written down already for all these guys. I'm kind of, for you being a groggy mess from having your birthday, you have kind of slayed this.
Yeah, I like where this is headed. I like where these people are.
Yeah.
Now we can start breaking out the story.
Yep, I agree. So I think this has been a nice, tight little hour and 15-minute episode. I
Yeah.
don't believe that Chris is coming back.
Yeah.
I think that we may have lost Chris to the toilet goblins.
Maybe. Yeah.
But that's all right.
That's okay. Like, yeah.
So next week, what are we doing next week?
I don't know. The 12th. Are we still writing? Like, are we still going into this?
We're still on this. Next week will be another Harlots episode. So we have all of our main characters fleshed out.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we go break down all the beat sheets for, like we, beat it out.
Do we want to start breaking out all of the sections of Save the Cat? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I say next episode we go straight. I say we name it. Save the Cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. We'll save the cat next week.
I love it.
All right.
Well, sir, we did the Lord's work. Anything you want to say?
Oh, be good to yourselves and each other.
You're all right. Happy birthday, Terry.
Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dear Terry.
Oh,
Happy
appreciate it.
birthday to you.
Oh, man, it's not even 9 o'clock. I can tell I'm 49 years old now.
Is this 40? Man, your next one will be 50.
They're digging. That's why we gotta have a feature film made by then.
You think you can have one done by 50?
Let's do it. Let's make that a goal.
I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be the worst thing for your 50th to find out that we sold this. Hey, can I take Chris out of the credits? I'm totally. I'm kidding, Chris. If you're watching.
Yeah, we'll bring him. Yeah, we'll bring him back when he doesn't have got
Yeah.
thumbs.
When things work out a little bit better.